Hey, do you have your prepper power needs handled? Many people have unrealistic ideas about supplying power to their homes during a prolonged event. This video will help you think about your power needs and what is really important. Hey, I'm Todd Sepulveda. I am the editor over at readyyourfuture.com and the host of the Ready Your Future podcast. Recently, in episode 767, I shared an article from Survival Blog about needs. It was someone who wrote an article in Alaska about their power needs. They were completely off grid. And one of the things, as I was thinking about this article and reflecting back on it, this is helpful to those of us who maybe we're not off grid, but we might be in a prolonged power outage. There's ideas that we can take from this article to help us to be better prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this article here, and I'm going to share it with you. And we're not going to necessarily read it. I just want to point out some things to you. Again, this is from survivalblog.com. I'm going to link to the article in the description of the video so that you can go and check this out. So anyway, this is from Miss Alaska. She talked about being off grid and all the things, how they had to make sure that the power needs that they had were met by what they had coming in. So like they use a generator, they also have batteries, those different kinds of things that they use. One of the things that I thought was really important and really valuable was this sentence right here that says, the power hogs in any home are appliances that create heat and move water. And so I thought that was a really important sentence there, and one to remember, because if we are in a prolonged power outage, then we want to make sure that if that's something that we are doing or we're counting on, people buy batteries and they buy big batteries, and they might buy a Jackery, a solar generator, thinking that this is going to do all the things, it's going to power my AC and do all these things, and it really doesn't. So we need to make sure that we understand power needs. So one of the things that she talked about here is they don't have these items, but at least they don't use electric appliances. So some of the big things are like an oven that would do 2,150 watts, stove 2,100, of course a dishwasher, clothing dryer. Look at that, 5,400 watts. And so that's just not something that they're wanting to do. I mean, they have a generator, a Honda 2000, which produces 2,000 watts. And so that's something that they really consider. They wind up drying their clothes on a clothesline. The other thing here is they do have some electrical tools, because it is easier to charge up those electrical tools when the generator is going on. So they have a circular saw that takes 1,400 watts, and a disc sander and a shop vacuum. She also even talked about making sure that she has an air fryer that uses 1,700 watts. And that's, some people would say, man, you're off grid. Why are you using an air fryer? But they live in Alaska. And so Crisco for deep frying is 50 cents a pound for transportation costs. And so it does make sense to go ahead and turn on your generator and generate 1,700 watts for 8 minutes to be able to, if you want fried foods, right? There's no reason why you're going to go without. So I thought it was an interesting article. There's a couple of things here that I want to point out. This link here to Generator Orist, I think is an awesome website. So I want to go there really quickly. They have some great tips and tricks for just generators and all these different kinds of things. Like, for instance, listen, look at this one here. What is that? Easily tune up your generator. So if I go into this one here, it is going to talk about, like what you need, your tune-up checklist. It walks you through what you need, to change the oil and the oil filter. If you go to this one over here, this one tells you how to change the oil in 8 steps. I thought this was really cool as well. Things that you need, and tells you like how to heat up the old oil in the generator. Place your generator on blocks. It just walks you through it. At the very bottom here, it even gives you a video if you want, a video representation of that. So I thought this was a great website here. I love it when you read an article and it leads you to another another website that is valuable. So I'm going to go ahead and link to this one here in the show notes so you can go check this out. Up on the top, I want to point out a couple of things on this website here is that you can, by watts, like if you wanted a 5500 watt generator, then you can go ahead and click into this one and it will tell you the 9 best 5500 watt generators that you can buy on the market. And they go into it and they give you all the information there. So that is a valuable resource. And then this is what I thought was really, really important, especially when we're talking about handling our power needs, because a lot of times in the preparedness community, we talk about having a generator, we talk about solar generators, we talk about all those different kinds of things. And it's like, what can we really power? So I really liked, for instance, when I clicked into this one here, what can I run with a 5,000 watt generator? And so it will walk you through, like, okay, key takeaways, like a small window unit usually runs at 1200 watts. A fridge with a freezer at 700 watts. And so it goes into all this detail, talks about running watts and starting watts, determining your wattage requirements. It goes into this chart here that is very helpful, and then how to determine what you need. Frequently asked questions. See, there was something down here that I wanted to. Will a 5,000 watt generator run a well pump? So those of you that would need to run a well pump, there you go. That will let you know what you need and those things, those considerations there. And so again, I think it's just a really great article to consider here. And so one of the things that that I would do, right, and I want to give you two scenarios as we're looking at this one here. I want to give you two scenarios that I would consider. And the first one is this. It would be like a short-term event. And so I have a Jackery. I really like my Jackery. There's people on the exclusive email group that are, they're a little bit more techie. They are engineers. And so they talk about other solar generators. They even talk about making their own solar generators or battery banks and all those different kinds of things. I'm a little bit more to where I like the easy plug and play, right? So I want to give you two scenarios. Let's say that we were in a rolling blackout for whatever reason. It's in the middle of summer, and here in the Houston area, it gets really, really warm. And so I want to make sure that my food in the freezer and in the refrigerator, they don't go bad. So in your refrigerator and your freezer, you might have hundreds of dollars worth of food or maybe even thousands of dollars, depending on how many freezers you have, how big your freezers are, and if you have meat, especially with how costs are right now. So one of the things that I want to do in a short-term event, and I'm watching the temperature, I'm watching where we're at, but I am going to go, and my need is not so that I can run my television, so that I can run the air condition, so that I can run, all those different, run my computer. Those are not my needs. My need in a short-term event is going to make sure that I save my freezer and my refrigerator. Those are the most important things for me. So I know that my Jackery will do that for me. So if I come back here, I did an article back when I owned Prepper website on the Jackery. And so this Jackery ran for 6 hours and only used 21% of this battery. And so again, it's an easy plug and play. I can just grab it. It stays charged, and you can check it. It has all the buttons on there to make sure that it is charged. And you can go and I can set it. I'm setting it. This is on the actual freezer, and I am running it right from here. And so that is going to be my short-term need. My short-term power need is going to be that I have that ready to go, and I'm saving my refrigerator and my freezer, the food in there, because I put a lot of money into that. If I were in a long-term event, and let's just say, for instance, some of the things that we've seen with power stations being attacked and people losing power or not having power for 4 days, multiple days. I mean, that's something that's a real concern. Our grid is very fragile. They're not putting more money into it. They're not really making sure that it's there, it's safe, it's tied to the internet, and so it can be attacked, by a terrorist. And so you have all those different kinds of things that are in play for a long-term event, I want to be able to make sure that I can, one, make sure that I have my freezer and my refrigerator, but I can go ahead and take care of the food that's there until I wind up eating it. And so that's going to be my focus. And so again, on a long-term event, and let's just say long-term might not be 4 days. I'm thinking longer. Let's say the poop really hits the fan. All right, kind of like what a lot of preppers believe will happen in the future. And let's say that happens, then I am going to, my priority is going to be like lights in my home. It's going to be make sure that I can charge my radio, my portable radio, and I have multiple ways to do that. And I'm going to make sure that I have my food. That's going to be the most important thing. And so as far as power needs, there's a lot of other needs there, but as far as power needs. And so I'm going to be charging my battery banks during the day with solar panels. I'm going to be charging them up, trying to keep them topped off. And then I'm going to be running them, running the freezer and the refrigerator off of these so that I can keep that food in there and get it to the point where it's gone. When the food is gone, it's gone. I don't have to worry about the freezer or the refrigerator anymore. After that, it's like I have power for gravy, right? To be able to charge power tools. And if you're in a real true poop hit the fan situation and people have power tools, that might be something that you could barter with. You might be able to say, hey, I will barter whatever. I'll charge your power tools, your batteries, in exchange for whatever you might need there. And so that's something to consider. So, like, if that makes sense to you, like that short-term scenario and that long-term scenario of your power needs, you might have different power needs. But if that makes sense to you, looking at your needs, will you just give me a thumbs up in this video? I would greatly appreciate that. All right, so another thing here that I want to ask you, or that I want to show, that I want to show you is the fact that you can create your own battery bank if you want. So I have a Jackery, and I believe in that one. I really like it. It's easy, plug and play. My wife could do it. My kids could do it. My parents could do it if they needed to. Even plugging up the solar panels. It's pretty foolproof there. But if you are techie and it's something that you want to do, you want to create your own battery bank. My friend Mick Rowland over at mick-rowland.com has built his own battery bank, and he's used this before to power his own refrigerator too. He had a more energy efficient refrigerator and it worked. But anyway, this article kind of walks you through how he did that, and so even charging it up with solar panels and the different things that he did. So if you're interested in building your own, you can definitely go and check this out. If you're interested in getting a Jackery, then I am, just to be upfront, I am an affiliate for them, and so that I'll have a link for you there as well as Mick's article here that you can go check out. All right, so let me go ahead and end this here. I'd like to ask you, though, what would be the most important thing for you during a power outage, during a prolonged event? Drop your answer in the comment. Like what is something, that maybe it's not the same thing for me, but it is for you. Maybe for you, it's running your water well. Maybe for you, it's having something that it's an emergency item, like an oxygen machine, and maybe you have somebody that is on that. So what is the most important thing for you? Drop that in the comment section. I would be curious to know what people are doing out there. All right, so last thing as we are ending this is I want to encourage you to join the email list. And when you join the email list, I will send you out a blackout checklist that will detail things that you should do before a blackout, during a blackout, and then after a blackout. And so I highly would encourage you to do that. The link for the email list and the blackout checklist is going to be in the description. But the other thing that you wind up getting when you sign up for my email list is also you get the Saturday prep every Saturday morning, and that is a bunch of articles that I have read throughout the week, and that I think are interesting and that they would be curious to anybody in the preparedness community. And I send that out to you. So here is This is an example of one of the recent Saturday preps here. And so it comes to you, it's a newsletter, it comes in your email, and you get this every Saturday morning with different links and to videos and articles, even podcasts and things that would be interesting to you. All right. So if you're interested in that, check out that blackout checklist and the email list. I highly encourage you to sign up for that. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate all your support, and we will catch you on the next video. Peace.